Welcome everyone to Deep Waters, where we take a deep dive into boxing's top stories. I'm George DeMatteis. I'm joined by Hall of Fame trainer Teddy Atlas. We have the champs Paulie Malignaggi and Chris Algieri, and the newest member of the ProBox TV family, one Mr. Jimmy Smith. Give it up, fellas, to Jimmy. Welcome, sir.
Great to be here. The world title line is right here in the middle.
Yeah.
All the world champs are on that end. We're staying over here.
We're retired over here, man.
Keep it in my lane. That's what I'm doing. Pleasure to be here, man.
It's good to have you, and we look forward to seeing you in the future here on ProBox TV with the shows and everything that you're going to bring to us here. We love it, man. Welcome officially. All right, let's talk some Pitbull Cruz, because he has become the talk of the town after his performance against Rolando Romero. He's maybe the second most famous Mexican boxer outside of course, Saul Canelo Alvarez. So let's start here with Teddy. What was it about Pitbull Cruz and his performance this past Saturday against Rolando Romero that makes him so exciting, so fun to watch, and makes him a serious threat at 140?
Well, first of all, Jimmy, welcome to the family. It's good to have you here. And I just wanted to say that. And as far as Cruz goes, what's there not to like? I mean, what's one of the, cliches that we use over and over in this sport? Fan friendly. I mean, he's got that tattooed on his forehead. Fan friendly, baby. You got aggression, you have physical strength, you have attitude, seriousness. I mean, he's got as serious a demeanor as any fighter that you're ever going to see. And he's nonstop. It's one thing to have the physical component. It's another thing to have the style that gets you excited. But it's another thing that you have the inside stuff that we're always looking to see if a fighter has it. It's so abundantly clear that this guy has it from the moment he gets in that ring. And that is the will, the most important part, the mental part, the drive, the ability to find a way to put lights on in a dark arena, in a dark room. I mean, you can count on it. This is the guy, talking about cliches, this is the guy I think that you would want to have in a foxhole, if you're in a foxhole. There's plenty of guys that I think we all know that we wouldn't want to have in that freaking foxhole, but he's one that, yeah, I'll take him. He's a guy you could depend on. And that's one of the greatest attributes you can have in life. Not much less than, in the squared circle, that you could depend on him, that he is going to do whatever he has to do to find a way to win. And
Teddy, you're not only describing Pitbull, you're describing yourself here. I want you in my foxhole if it came down to it. Speaking of dependable.
Well, thank you, Chris, but I appreciate that. And I want all of you guys in my corner and in my foxhole, if I ever have to get into a foxhole again.
Thanks.
That's one of the reasons I like being on this show.
Thanks, Teddy. But piggybacking along what you're saying, Teddy, I want to say, he's dependable not just because he's going to give you, he's going to always try to go for the win and always try to make the fight. Teddy, there's something you like to say, the attitude of a fighter. He has the attitude of a fighter. Nothing breaks him. He comes forward. He even if you put an offensive assault on him, it doesn't deter him. But also, he's dependable in that he's always going to be entertaining. You're not going to see an Isaac Cruz fight that doesn't entertain you, because his style is pure entertainment. At this point, he probably is the second hottest Mexican fighter in boxing, aside from Canelo Alvarez, of course, who is the main attraction. But in the moment right now, I don't think there's a Mexican fighter that is generating more talk in boxing besides Canelo Alvarez than Pitbull Cruz.
You guys are talking about his exciting attributes, talking about his toughness, his grit. I want to talk about his technique. He's not an easy guy to hit either. He got described somewhere as being like a mini Mexican Mike Tyson. That was how I always thought about him. He stays very low in that crouch, keeps his chin tucked.
How about a mini Joe Frazier, smoking Joe
Frazier? That's another great comparison there, Teddy. He stays very low, and Joe's another guy that, if you just looked at him like, oh man, he's a two-fisted destroyer. But nah, Joe had great head movement. He got underneath shots. He stayed very low. That's something that Pitbull Cruz does really, really well.
And knowing how to punch off that head movement so that
yes.
it's disguised.
Guys, one other thing he does better than any fighter in the game. Any fighter in the game right now. And something that we always want to see a fighter do. I always push it in the gym. I go crazy over. He keeps his chin lower than any fighter I've ever seen.
Very difficult to hit clean.
And that's why
very.
And that's why his ability to stay in position, even if you notice Pitbull, one of the subtle things that he does very well, even if you put offense on him, it doesn't break his positioning. A lot of times guys will make defensive moves and they're all over the place here, all over the place there. Their hands go all over the place defensively, and it puts them out of punching position. Even if you attack Pitbull Cruz, he stays in this little pocket so that he can punch right back at you. But he doesn't bust position, which is so important, but it's subtle and underrated. He does that very, very well, and that's why he's consistently dangerous. And that's why a guy like Rolando Romero, who had a worse jab than even I could have imagined, now you can't get this guy off you because his positioning is always dangerous. So it's psychological and physical.
What does it all bring together, guys? We say all the time in combat sports, I always say, you can be a world champion, or you can be entertaining. To be both is really, really hard. He has that mercurial kind of combination that we're talking about here. Tactically good and exciting. You and I can name a dozen world champions that have better technique, that don't entertain the crowd like he does. And I can name a dozen fighters, super entertaining, love them to death. Oh my God, they're never gonna touch that world level status. Bringing that together, you got a star. That's what we have right now.
And plus he's Mexican.
That helps.
Doesn't help. Has the right passport.
That never hurts in this sport. It never hurts to have a built-in fan base, a Mexican fan base. They come out, man, and they support their guys. That's why I'm super excited about the Canelo Alvarez Munguia fight. You're getting both sides. It's gonna be
one
great.
other thing,
Go ahead, Teddy.
He's been acid tested. You know, sometimes we have to speculate. What's the guy, the newest star on the block? You know, he wins that debut fight. He wins that big fight that everyone's attention is there now, where it wasn't before. And you say, well, you know, how's he going to fare when he steps up in competition? We already have that answer. He fought a really tight fight with Tank Davis. So we already know that he can fare well with the top guys.
Yeah, and now he knocked out Romero. He had beaten Gamboa a little bit past his prime, Gamboa, of course, but still had gotten key wins like that. He's very, very exciting and very, very good, as you said, Jimmy.
All right, we'll take a quick break here in Deep Waters, and we'll talk about Pitbull and where he fits in 140 here on ProBox TV, your boxing channel. Welcome back to Deep Waters. If you guys only knew the discussions we had during the break, oh man, that right there is TV gold, all right? Welcome everyone. Jimmy Smith, our newest family member joining us here.
Thrilled to be here. Thrilled to be here.
And we're thrilled to have you here, so welcome. All right, let's talk about 140 pounds because now we have Devin Haney, Teofimo Lopez, Subriel Matias, now Isaac Pitbull Cruz, who is obviously a fantastic fighter. Chris, where does Pitbull Cruz fit in the mix here in this very loaded and deep division?
Honestly, before this fight, and Champ, I'm throwing you on the bus here because I told you Cruz was going to win. I told you he was going to win.
We reversed it over me, too. That was horrible. I expected more from Rolly, guys.
We did.
I'll take that one on the chin like Rolly did.
We did our in-the-ring breakdown, and I'm watching video. I'm like, there's no shot Rolly beats this guy. And sure enough, it's exactly what happened. But regardless of that, I mean, I never saw him as being a champion at 140. It didn't make sense to me. Like, this guy's kind of a small 35-pounder. Now he's going to move up to 40, and he's going to be a titleist in one of the deepest divisions in the weight class. Now that it's happened, I'm like, cool, sign me up. I'm ready for it. Dude, him and Subriel Matias, come on. Sign me up. Get them in the ring ASAP. That is gangbusters from beginning to end, as long as it lasts.
Unification, too.
Right, unification as well. So that's another thing now. A guy like Cruz, who is so fan-friendly, we've been talking about that the whole time. Now he has a belt. Now guys have to fight him. When you have a belt, you have negotiating power. Not only can he make the money, but he can make the fights happen. Guys want to unify. We live in the age of unification. Subriel Matias, dude, that guy wants to fight anybody. Anybody. That fight makes so much sense, not only just from the business side, but also from the fan-friendly side. The other guys, Teofimo, you kind of never really know what's going on with him. Devin's on his own track. He does what Devin wants to do. If he wants to fight him, there's a possibility to make it happen. But I think the Matias-Cruz fight is the next one that should be made for every reason under the sun.
By the Matias, IBF champion, and Pitbull Cruz, the WBA champion. So unification there. What do you think, Paulie, is 140 with Cruz?
You know, I'm one of the guys who loves to push for the right thing. You know, like yesterday, I'm pushing for Tszyu to get his rematch because it's the right thing to do. And I want to push for the right thing to do, but damn, dude, that's a good fight,
I'll
man.
make an exception to my morals right now.
Go ahead.
Because morally speaking, first and foremost, and I think it's a good fight, but it's hard to top the one Chris the champ just said. I mean, It's Ismael Barroso who deserves the shot at Pitbull Cruz after getting screwed in the Rolly Romero fight.
He's the
and he came back and knocked out O'Hara Davies badly, and he was like an 18-1 underdog in that fight too. So, I mean, what does a guy have to do to get this title shot that he deserves? I feel like Ismael Barroso front and center has to get this title shot. And it would be explosive against a guy like Pitbull Cruz, who has a great chin himself and punches hard himself. And Barroso is a little bit shop-worn, a little older, but man, he got the most dynamite hands in boxing possibly, aside from Bitterbiev. So I want to see that. Also, I'm going to throw in a little wild card, because you got a Mexican. You know what? I'm going to look at another Mexican, Juan Carlos Ramirez. Everybody thinks he's gone. JC Ramirez, Mexican versus Mexican. I know he's at Golden Boy. I
often forgot JC Ramirez. Yeah.
Who, let's face it, even if he's not at his best, can't be that shot either. I mean, he had nothing to show me that he's that shot, right? So, I mean, JC Ramirez, Mexican versus Mexican. I kind of like that fight, too. I know there's promotional, political hurdles to get there, but Pitbull versus JC Ramirez also is a good fight, and the Mexican fan base would brew there. And also, what I said before about the second most popular fighter, all respect to Jaime Munguia. I don't want to forget him, too, Pitbull and Jaime Munguia right behind Alvarez.
If you go from, less than 200,000 Instagram followers to 1 million, you become the second most popular Mexican fighter.
Yeah.
That's what happens when he's out
This day and
Pitbull
age,
Cruz.
yeah.
In this day and
The
age,
social media counts.
The social media counts. All right, Jimmy, before we get to you, I want to hear from what Teddy has to think about 140 and Pitbull Cruz and how he fits into the mix.
Give me everything you guys. Give me everything you guys just ordered.
You're going to go to Ranger Bull route. Teddy, I want you to hit me with your best shot. I want you to lay me out.
Give me everything give me the same thing. Look, you can't go wrong with any of that. The top of the list has to be Mattias, because they are, they're mirror images of each other. Except Mattias has an advantage. His punches are shorter, more concise. He doesn't know how to throw a wide punch, Mattias. I've said it before. He throws Joe Louis punches, all short, sharp punches. He's tremendous. He never stops. He keeps coming. He does it more conventionally. He doesn't come in, bobbing and weaving and, throwing those big Joe Frazier left hooks and everything else. But he gets in there behind the jab. He gets in there tight, and he goes to work. He's a great inside fighter. And just like Cruz, he goes to the body and the head. That's the top of the list. The guy that he would have some trouble with, quite frankly, and I'm sure they're going to stay away from unless they back up the Brinks truck, because I know if I was managed, it doesn't make sense right now. But Haney's a sharpshooter. Yeah. Haney's a guy on the outside. He owns the outside. He looks to, throw some of those laser shots, straight right hands, short shots, uppercuts. He's got a real good uppercut, Haney. Cruz could be susceptible to that punch, being that he could lean forward a little bit. And he's always coming. He's dependable. That's where dependability can work against you, where you start to become a guy that's predictable. You're dependable, but you're predictable. You're coming in that front door. Guy like Haney, he could look to catch him, nail him, coming in that front door. I think he stays away from Haney. I'd like to see him with Teofimo, of course. Chris hit it right on the head. He's up and down. He's hot and cold. You don't know which Teofimo you're going to get, but Teofimo, he can punch. And Cruz is the kind of guy that you probably got a much better chance to beat him if you can get his respect. If you're going to hurt him, whether to the body or the head, you got to hurt him. You got to slow him down a little bit in order to have effect with him. And there's one other guy, just like a name was thrown in there by Paulie and was the right name. There's a guy out there that's still undefeated in that class, Barbosa. And I think Barbosa is a guy, I think he's 28-0, somewhere around there, 17 knockouts, whatever. He's the number one contender. I think in one of those 140-pound ratings. He's a guy that probably, it would make a good fight, because Cruz would bring in. Barbosa doesn't go. Barbosa, what am I saying his name right?
Barbosa.
Yeah, Barbosa.
Yeah, you're right. You got it.
Arnold Barbosa. Yeah.
Barbosa. He doesn't go anywhere. He's right in front. He's technically sound. He goes to the body, goes to the head. You don't got to look for him. He would fit in. Look, he hasn't earned his bones. He hasn't made his bones yet with that signature win. But he's a guy that could fit right in there.
All right, let's talk about Tank Davis, because Tank Davis would have to move up, Jimmy. So he'd have to move up from 135 to 140. But with all the talent there at 140 and the fact that he beat Pitbull Cruz, maybe Tank Davis starts to get into the mix a little bit. What do you think?
Also think about the attitude of Pitbull Cruz. One of the combat sports things you hear all the time. If you want a rematch, I didn't hurt you bad enough. And Tank didn't hurt him bad enough. I think Pitbull wants that fight. He believes he can win that fight. We here at this desk can say whatever we want. Pitbull believes, hey, I was short notice. I didn't have all the time in the world. That was a guy I wasn't ready for. I'm ready now. Momentum is a real thing in sports, especially in combat sports. Right now, Pitbull, a lot of momentum. Whether we believe he can win, he thinks he can win. Now, whether Gervonta Davis comes up right now, having all the momentum he has a lot of cards to play himself, that's a separate question. But I do believe Pitbull wants that back, and not a lot of people do.
And that fight will have to take place at 140, right? 140?
I think so, yeah.
Okay. All right, we'll take a quick break here on Deep Waters, and we'll continue discussion. And we have a special guest joining us here on Deep Waters on ProBox TV, your boxing channel. Right? Welcome back to Deep Waters, where we take a deeper dive into boxing's top stories. George DeMatteis alongside Chris Algieri, Paulie Malignaggi. You got Teddy Atlas and the newest member of the ProBox TV family, Jimmy Smith, joining us. And we've been talking about 140, but we're going to move up a couple weight classes to talk about a middleweight contender. Jordan Panthen joins us for the second time. We've interviewed him before here on ProBox TV. Jordan, thank you very much for joining us here. You got a big fight coming up against Ravshan Hudaynazarov. I hope I said it right, and if I didn't, I apologize. Been practicing that for a couple of minutes here.
Oh, solid.
Thank you. Jordan, how are you feeling? First of all, thank you very much for joining us, and how are you feeling ahead of this fight here to try to improve to 8-0?
Hey, thanks for having me. I'm feeling great. I'm better than ever. Weight cut is easy. Feel strong. I feel amazing. I feel ready to rock out, put on another amazing, impressive performance this Thursday.
What are you expecting come fight night with Ravshan, who actually was a former sparring partner of mine about 14 years ago? Really tough guy, Uzbek. Good step-up fight for you, a guy with a really good record, a lot of experience. What are you thinking headed into this one?
I'm expecting a tough opponent. I'm expecting the last couple rounds, but you never know. I might catch him something early, might put him down, but to see a fight going a couple different ways, but I see me imposing myself and getting him out of there one way or another before that final bell sounds, and I see myself putting on an exciting and another impressive, eye-opening ooh-ah and performance. So that's what I see, whichever way it goes.
And I looked at your record, and you're fighting every month. You're fighting every couple months. You even fought, I think, twice in 1 month. So how do you feel about that, staying that active? To me, it's a great advantage for you, because the more you get in the ring, the calmer you get, the more relaxed you get, the more comfortable you get in your workplace. Is it working for you in that way?
No, it's working. That's what I wanted. That's what I wanted and what I believe I need to do. So I'm going to continue doing that. I'm planning on 6 fights minimum this year, maybe 7, how things go. I had my pro debut August of 2022. Didn't have my second fight until end of April of 2023, so I had the right people in my corner. I fixed that scenario, and I got the right people with the same vision with me, and we're back to back to back. So that's really the plan for us this year. We're going to be busy in training camp pretty much nonstop. By the way, also, Teddy, huge fan of you. I grew up watching Friday Night Fights and whatnot, and always love hearing your commentary. But yeah, so I see myself staying busy. That goes for this year and 2025. So I don't see that not stopping. No.
And one other thing, I love your left hook to the body. That's it. That's it.
No, it's not to like about that, right? So, actually, I want to continue off of what Teddy said. That staying busy, Jordan, obviously it's a terrific thing for any prospect, but you also notice, the improvements, and you're stepping up in competition consistently. How important is it? Because you're somebody who has kind of become a gym legend on the West Coast. A lot of very big trainers like, Ronnie Shields and Malik Scott have really been singing your praises highly. To live up to that reputation inside the ring under the lights, which you're consistently doing, and this ability to stay busy allows you to do that more often, so that you can become more than just the enigma in the gym. You actually can translate that into the star under the lights. How important is it for you to continue to be this impressive, and how exciting has it been for you?
It's super, it's good thing you asked that. It's super impressive, important to me to be impressive in every performance. I train every fight like I'm training to fight the best person on the planet. It comes out, I just don't want to win. I want to win in impressive fashion. Knockout or not. I want to win in dominant fashion. I want to be like, wow, it's just explosive, dominant, whatever you want to say. I just don't want to win. I want to win and put a statement on every fight. That's been my mission every fight I've had, even for the amateurs. I want to put a statement on every fight. And when you leave the night, you remember that fight when Jordan Panthen fought. So that's my plan. And, I'm starting to feel that stigma over here in California. It's hard to get sparring. I even had to pay for sparring partners. My last sparring session, already 8 fights in, or about to be 8 fights in. I got paid for sparring already. So I'm starting to feel that a little bit here. And, I'm continuing to put on impressive performances. And step of competition. I see myself being at a 10-round fight, if not the next one, the one after that, the next 2 fights. So competition will be stepping up. And I feel like my timing's impeccable. I think the timing, everything is perfect, and we're on the right path.
Yeah, Jordan fought 5 times in 2023, so he has remained very active, very busy. And one thing these champions always say, you have to stay active. Inactivity really hurts them in the ring. All right, Jordan, anything last second shout out, social media you want to promote real quick?
You can follow me at my full name, Jordan Panthen, Jordan Panthen. And that's about it. But yeah, fireworks come Thursday. Fireworks only. That's what I bring.
Right, and one
Jordan.
other thing I love your
very quickly, Teddy. We need to go to break quickly.
I love the flag.
I was going to say the same thing, Teddy. Teddy, I love the flag trunks and the flag.
The Apollo Rocky.
The Apollo Rocky Creed. You're going to wear those in
bring
this
American
one?
boxing back in a different way.
All right, sounds
Paulie,
good.
this one's for Paulie. Paulie.
Yeah.
Let's
All
start
right.
out some meat packing company.
There we go. Jordan, thanks for your time. We appreciate you here on Deep Waters, and good luck and we hope you run your record to 8-0 with 7 knockouts. We will continue with more Deep Waters here on the other side. And this is Deep Waters only on ProBox TV. All right, Jimmy, what did we learn today?
Most important thing for me, I really am proud to learn this, that Paulie doesn't mind being thrown under the bus. Because I'm telling you, if we're working together, he's going to take a lot on the chin. I'm going to call him out every single time, right under the bus, back over him again, and then run over him, and he's cool with it. So that is the #1 thing I learned today, Paulie, and I love it.
If it's deserved, hey, man, I'll take it on the chin.
Careful. It goes both ways, Jimmy. Be careful.
He will drive the bus as well. I'm ready. Doesn't matter.
Paulie, what did you learn today?
What did I learn today about
the bus?
I mean, aside from the bus, I mean, listen, our discussion about Pitbull Cruz is something to behold in the 140-pound division, a fun division, the most fun division in boxing right now, and we have an added addition, an unexpected addition, because we thought he was solidified at 135.
We got reminded of it today, that you can do all the trash talking in the world, but you still got to back the damn thing up when you get in that ring. And Romero, again, he got a little bit of a soft ride. Yeah, he got knocked out by Davis, legitimate. He went in there with the top guy, but then with Barboza, he got a gift, and then he gets in there, continued the smack talk, and he wasn't able to back it up. So, no matter what, in life and boxing, whatever, if you're gonna talk all that smack, you better back it up. And talking ain't gonna do it. You got to be able to fight.
So he was more flash than substance, huh, Teddy?
Yeah, there's that old saying where there's a lot of sizzle, there better be some steak.
I mean, you just took the words out of my mouth, Teddy. I remember Max Kellerman saying that on one of my fights on Friday Night Fights. If you're gonna have the sizzle, you better bring the steak.
Right, all we saw was a little corned beef hash.
And for me, I mean, listen, I had blinders on because I was thinking about the only fight for Cruz is Subriel Matias, but then Paulie brings on Ishmael Barroso, and then Teddy brings on Barboza. I'm like, there's actually a lot of good fights.
It's a good weight class.
For Isaac Cruz at 140. I thought he'd be better at 35. I was wrong. I got more fights for him. All right, I'm happy. All right, let's go.
140 might be the best weight class in boxing. That does it for Deep Waters here on ProBox TV, your boxing channel.